Hey guys, Charlotte from Chicago here, and I'm just here to tell you a fun story, and by fun, I mean insanely awkward and just really uncomfortable, but to try to make it a little bit better, I'm turning it to a funny aspect, but I don't know what is in the air this week, but there's just something going on with French men, and if there's only one thing that you get from this video is do not make eye contact with French people. Specifically French guys. So the first thing was that on Saturday, I had a convention all weekend with Hillsong Church, and I was on my way to the convention, and I had been sitting on the train, and I was just kind of looking around casually, and I made eye contact with someone, and I just did a really soft smile so it wasn't awkward, and then I looked away. But I could still see him out of my peripheral vision, and I could see him staring at me. I was like, okay, don't make eye contact again. So thankfully my stop was next. And I got off the train at my stop, and I could still feel him staring at me, but I didn't look at him when I was on the train. I got off the train to make sure that he wasn't getting off at that stop. And I looked back, and he was still staring at me. I was like, oh, okay. And then in France, well, two different things. One is that if the doors close on you in France, they will not reopen. In America, if doors close on you on trains or something, they'll open back up. Yeah, no, that's not how it works in France. So you have to just book it. And I hear the doors start buzzing, which means they're about to close. And out of the corner of my eye, I see someone jump through the doors as the doors start closing. I'm thinking, no. Yeah, no, it's not happening. So I pick up my pace a little bit, and I get halfway down the stairs, and someone grabs me on the shoulder. I was like, oh! So I turn around, and it was the guy. It was the guy I had made eye contact with on accident. And so I took my headphones out, and he's standing about 5 inches from my face because the French like to stand close to you when they talk. And I was like, okay. And he's just rambling in French. And I was like, I don't speak French. So he's like, really? I said, yeah. And he goes, only English? I said, uh-huh. He goes, do you live here? I was like, kinda. And he goes, oh, do you have a French number? Can I have it? Did you just jump off a train and chase me down to ask for my phone number? I didn't say that out loud because I was just a little like, oh, what's happening? So I lied. I said no. So that was on Saturday, and thankfully nothing weird happened that night. But then on Sunday, I was on my way to church in the morning, and there was a half marathon in Paris that morning, so the metro was just packed beyond belief. So when I got on, I had to kind of step over this guy's leg that had been sitting down so I could get to the other side. I was like, oh, my bad. Pardon, which is excuse me in French. So I get to the other side, and the guy that I had to step over was probably about 25-ish, but he was sitting there with his mom. And I'm just sitting on the other side, and I had my headphones in, and I was getting in my church vibe, so I was listening to music and just kind of jamming out to myself, and I can see him just looking at me, thinking, no. After last night, or yesterday morning, we're not having another repeat of this. So I'm looking everywhere but over here, just glancing around, and I can still feel him staring at me, because it goes me, another seat, an aisle, then him. And there's someone standing, I'm sitting, they're standing, and then he's sitting. So the person standing is kind of blocking his view of me, and then finally the person that was standing ends up sitting down, and it totally blocks this guy's view of me. So, in a very obvious manner, the guy leans forward and turns his head to just start looking at me. Like, I can see you staring at me. So, okay, just do not look over there, Charlotte. So I'm looking straight and just over here and just, I'm thinking, okay, fine. My stop is next. Just get off. There's so many people that when I got up, I had to step over him again to get out. And I can see him just looking at me, and he checks up and down. I was like, stop. And so I got off the train, and I was walking fast because I'm thinking, I don't want another thing to happen like that. And I was getting off, and at the last second, I'm about to get on the escalator, and someone grabs me by the arm, and I'm thinking, no, not again. And I turned around, and it was a girl that was on her way to church with me. She's like, oh, let's walk together. I was like, oh, you do not know how much you scared me right there. I'm thinking that is not going to be another repeat of yesterday. I'm like, okay, good. So, thankfully, there was no real encounter there. But then what happened on Monday was also weird. I went to the grocery store that's downstairs, and right when I was coming out, I was checking out at the grocery store, and a guy that was probably in his mid-20s, he came in, and I could see that he just looked me up and down. I was like, okay, let's not do that. And so I check out, and then I leave, and the grocery store is literally right below my apartment, so I just have to go around the corner to get in. And so I get all the way around the corner, and I'm just at my, outside the apartment building door, and I hear, "Mademoiselle?" I turned around, and it was the guy. Did you just follow me home from the grocery store? And so he starts speaking to me in French. I was like, okay, I don't speak French. He goes, oh, English? I said, yes. He goes, can I, have your number so I can, see you again? Like, okay, your English isn't great. If you're gonna ask for my number and I don't speak French and you don't speak English, this isn't gonna work. This has all been within the last, 48 to 72 hours. I'm thinking, what is going on? I can barely get a guy to hold the door open for me in America. The only person that goes out of their way to hold doors open for me, will open the car door before I get in, is my dad. So thanks, Dad, for being the number one man in my life. But still, it's just such a big difference. I can't get any of that in the States, and then men jump off trains and chase me down and ask for my number. I had another just weird experience on the metro probably about a month ago. It was just a little bit after I got here. I had gone out with my cousin and his girlfriend and all of their friends, and I was coming back on the metro, and it was at night, and the second I got on the metro, I just went and sat right down. When I sat down, there was someone standing in front of me then. I just kind of looked up. I was like, oh, okay. And a lot of people on the metro ask for money. And I don't speak French, so I just kind of ignore it. And this guy's just towering over me. And he was probably his late 20s. And I'm just like, okay. And he's speaking French to me. I said, parlez-vous anglais? Which means, do you speak English? And he just kept speaking in French. I was like, okay. So I thought maybe he was homeless or maybe he was crazy, and I just wanted to ignore it. And there were a lot of people around me, so I don't know why he approached me. And I made eye contact with the woman sitting across from me, and she's just shaking her head. I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's not a great sign. So I turned away from this guy, hoping that he would leave, and all of a sudden, he grabs me by my nose, turns me back to him, and looks up, and with the second he grabbed my nose and turned me, because it happened very quickly, I swat his hand away. He just kind of, and then he walked off and went to go talk to someone else. I'm like, did you just, scuff, at me? You grabbed me! It wasn't very aggressive, it wasn't like a rah, but it was definitely I'm touching you and moving you. I don't know. The good thing about all of this is that I never felt endangered in any of these situations. Yes, I felt like, oh, this is really awkward, but I never felt unsafe, which is a good thing, because don't worry, I don't want you all to just freak out about, oh, it's unsafe over here in France. No, my life is just awkward, and for some reason, these situations keep happening to me, but I'm used to it, because that's what happens to me a lot. My life is awkward. It's all just part of the journey of being abroad. So, thank you guys for listening. Let me know what you thought of my stories, and was your favorite part, or what was probably the most cringeworthy part, I think is the best one for this kind of video. Like, oh, yeah, that's uncomfortable. But I'll be sure to fill you guys in if any more adventures on the metro happen. But What I'm really hoping is that I just don't run into these people again. Because I can deal with the awkwardness that one time just to get them to leave. But if I see them again, they're like, why didn't you call me? Why'd you give me the wrong number? Or just things like that. It's like, I'm going to just start speaking Chinese to them next time. I think that's the real solution. Because most of them speak English here. Hit them with the Chinese, confuse them, and just... 我不会说法文. That's it. Good. All right. Well, enjoy your week, you guys, and thanks for listening.